Hello guys, my name is Balakrishna Srivastav and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video we write C++ code solution for LeetCode problem number 1, do some. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel. So this is the question, take a minute and give this a reading. Okay. So the question says that you are given an array of integer nums and you have to identify two indices which are not equal, say I and j, so that the sum of elements at indices I and j, nums I plus num j, equal to the given target. That is your task. Okay, you have to return those indices I and j. Okay, as a vector in case of C++. Okay, so this is your nums. Okay, the array indices 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is your target. Okay, looking at the array, I can say that these two indices I and j, I equal to 0, j equal to 1, or I equal to 1 and j equal to 0, they give me elements 2 and 7, the sum of which is equal to the target 9. Okay, how do we go about finding this? Let me just write this array here again. Okay, for each index I, okay, for the given target, I am going to compute target minus nums of I. So at each index, I am going to find target minus nums of I. So nums of I is 2, target is 9. 9 minus 2 will give me 7 here. 9 minus 7 will give me 2 here. 9 minus 11 will give me minus 2 here. 9 minus 15 will give me minus 6 here. Okay. So for array 2, 7, 11, 15, which is my nums, okay, I find t minus nums of I for each index I. So this is going to be 7, 2, minus 2 and minus 6. Okay, the idea of finding this, let me call this diff. Okay, the idea of finding diff is that, for example, if I am at say I equal to 0, my diff is 7. If I am able to find diff as an element in the nums array itself, which is not at the same index I, it means I have found two values that sum up to make target. So I am at index 0 where nums of I is 2. I find diff as 7. Do I find diff in my nums array at a separate index? Yes, I find it at j equal to 1. So for I equal to 0, my diff, which is t minus nums of I, is going to be 7, which is an entry in this nums array at j equal to 1. It can go the other way as well. At I equal to 1, at this index, my nums of I is 7. Difference target minus nums of I, 9 minus 7 is 2. Do I find 2 as an entry in the nums array at a separate index? Yes, at I equal to 0. So at I equal to 1, I have corresponding say j equal to 0. Okay, which is the solution that we are looking for. Okay, so from this logic we can conclude, if we are able to find diff which is equal to t minus nums of I, okay, for any index I in nums at an index j such that I is not equal to j, then I and j is our solution. Okay, the idea is to look for the value diff, which is target minus that value at that index I for any particular index I. If we are able to find diff in the nums array at index j so that I is not equal to j, then I and j is our solution. Okay, so our next task now becomes search for diff in nums. That is, if I am given an entry, I should be able to check if it is there in my nums array or not. For that, we can, if we do a linear search, it's going to be very slow. That's why they are asking up in the follow-up that can you do it in less than O n square. Okay, you can generate all pairs of I and j using O n square nested loop, and then you can check. Okay, we are looking for a better solution. Okay, so to have a faster search, I am going to create, okay, a map, okay, of key value pairs. Okay, now what do I mean by this map is I am going to put all the entries of this array nums in the map where my key is going to be nums of I. Okay, so key is going to be nums of I, the entry in the array, and the value is going to be the corresponding index I. I'll tell you the reason why in a moment. So for this given array, my keys are going to be 2, 7, 11 and 15. And their corresponding values are going to be the indices. Value 2 is at index 0, 7 is at index 1, 11 is at index 2, 15 is at index 3. Okay, and we are doing this because we are trying to find any possible diff in our array nums, and to search faster we create a map. Okay, so with this map, when I am at index 0, my diff is 7. Do I find 7 in the map? Yes, and I can get the index where 7 is by finding the value of 7, which is 1. So for I equal to 0, diff was 7, which was found in the map, and the corresponding index where it is in nums array is 1. So this j is 1. So for I equal to 0, I get j equal to 1. Alright. So using all these ideas, my algo is going to be, okay, first create a map, okay, where my key is nums of I and value is I for all i's. Okay, for all I nums, all indices in nums basically. Okay, then for each index I in nums, that is we basically use a for loop. For each index I in nums, calculate diff, which is equal to target minus nums of I. Okay, then find diff in map. Okay, so there are two possible cases: found, not found. If not found, we move on to the next iteration. If found, we get j and verify. You also have to make sure that I and j are not the same indices. I is not equal to j. Okay, I'll just discuss a case where this can happen. So you calculate diff, you look for diff in the map, you found diff, you get j. If I is not equal to j, solution is I comma j. Okay, so this is your algorithm, and this comes from the idea that we are looking to find difference, target minus the corresponding nums of I in the array nums, and the search has to be faster to be better than O(n) square. So we create a map of key value pairs. Okay, we are in C++, we can use a map or an unordered map, and unordered map is going to be faster than map. All right, so let me just write the code first and then we discuss cases. So create a map of key value pairs, and then for each index I we do the search. Let me just do this first. So unordered map where my key is going to be int, value is going to be int, I'm going to say m. Okay, so for each index I, nums dot size, okay, I plus plus, I have to calculate difference, which is target minus nums of I. If I am able to find diff in the map, so if m dot find diff is not equal to m dot end. So when you try to look for a key in the map, it returns an iterator. If the key is not found, it returns the iterator m dot end. So this means we are able to find diff as a key in this map m, and we also have to make sure that I is not equal to the corresponding value for this diff. So m of diff, I should not be equal to the value for this key diff in this map. This is where we find a solution. We have found a solution. Okay, so let me just populate the map before we start our for loop. I say m of nums of I is okay, key is the entry in the map and this value is the corresponding index where that entry is. Alright, and we have to return the solution as an int, as a vector. So I'll say vector answer of size 2, answer of 0 is I, answer of 1 is j, and j is basically the index where this diff is. So it's a value in this map. For this key diff, we return answer. Okay, and we need to add a dummy return as well so that it compiles. Okay, this is your code testing this now. Okay, submitting this. Okay, so this runs beat 75%, does not beat 100% because it can be made faster. I'm just gonna make some code changes and then I'm going to explain what happened. So I'm not gonna populate the map before we start a for loop. I'm going to add this entry only if this if condition fails. And then I'm going to run this again. Okay, submit this again. Okay, beats 100%. Alright, okay. First, why did I do this? Why did I not pre-populate this map before we start the for loop? Because let's take our example again. Okay, so our nums is 2, 7, 11, 15, and in our updated code our map is a blank. I'm gonna create a Python style looking map. Okay, our target is 9. I start I at index 0. My diff is going to be target minus nums of 5. So t minus 9 for I equal to 0 is going to give me 7. Okay, the code looks for 7 in the map. Do I have 7 in the map? No. Okay, so I come here. I say m nums of I equal to I. It means I'm putting nums of I as a key. So 2 goes as a key and its index 0 goes as its value. So map now becomes this. Okay, we move on to the next index. This was the last line in the for loop. I becomes 1. Diff now becomes t minus nums of I. So 9 minus this was 9 minus 2. We have 9 minus 7, which is 2. I look for 2 in the map. Do I find 2 in the map? Yes. I found 2 in the map, which is diff for I equal to 1. So I get my j as 0. So my solution is going to be I equal to 1 and j equal to 0. Okay, alright, which is correct. Now, if we were pre-populating the map where I had 2, 0, 7, 1, 11, 2 and 15, 3. If I was pre-populating the map at index I equal to 0, I was looking for 7, which I would have found in the map. So I would have gotten my j as 1. So I equal to 0, j equal to 1 have been an answer. Okay, but in this case, I'm doing a lot more insert operations than I need. And that is because for I equal to a and j equal to b, the solution is also when I equal to b and j equal to a. So there is no need to pre-populate the map. So we start with a blank map. And this is because when we reach at the higher index, which is a part of the solution, the lower index will be a part of the map. And that is what our idea is. Okay. So in our algo, okay, we create an empty map. Okay. And after, if this is not found, I insert nums of I and I as in the map as key value pairs. Okay, that is what I did in the code. If this if condition failed, I inserted key and value pair. Okay, again this is working because these two are basically the same solution and we can return the solution in any order. Alright, let me take one more case where I have say 2, 4, 1, 5 and my target is 8. If I was pre-populating my map, key, value, key, value, key, value, 1 is 2 and 5 is 3. Okay, at index 0, I have my diff as 8 minus 2, which is 6. Do I find 6 in the map? No, I move on to the next index. At index 1, my diff is going to be 8 minus 4, which is 4. Okay, do I find 4 in the map? Yes. But the j that you are getting here is the same as I. Okay, and that's why we check I not equal to j. Alright, when you are not repopulating this, for example, we have 2 4 1 5, okay, target is 8, and I don't pre-populate the map, I keep it empty. Okay, I start with I equal to 0 again. My diff is going to be 8 minus 2 equal to 6. Do I find 6 in the map? Map isn't empty. Okay, I move on to the next index, and before moving on to the next index, I add 2 at index 0 in the map. In the next index, I have 4, so 8 minus 4 will give me 4. Do I have 4 in the map? No. Okay, so this I not equal to j, okay, you don't need when you are not pre-populating the map. So if I come here and I remove this, okay, it is still going to work. Okay, all right, b it's 100%, and we commented out, we removed this I equal to jj, okay, because we are not pre-populating. Okay, so this is your final code which we got from all this understanding here. Okay, so this was the solution to this problem, and I hope this was helpful. If there is any doubt, is a part you don't understand, please let me know in the comments. I always try to answer all your comments, and you can always let me know in the comments if there's a question you want me to solve, or if there's a concept you want to discuss. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.